It's like, this is the clearest, like, fixed fight you're ever going to see. But look at this guy holding his hands up and watch. Watch that. He, like, literally shows him his chin,
like,
and he goes down. It's so fake. Look at him. He's got nothing. It's like a guy who just learned boxing yesterday.
World title in everyone's imagination. That's the heavyweight champ. You were here. Everyone else was here. But since then, the feeling has been Joshua makes all this money fighting anyway, 30 million pounds, whatever it is. Why should he take 40 or 50 to fight Wilder when he's making against anybody? He can make 30, 40 million pounds, whatever it is.
No fantasy contracts, just reality. You know, bringing our work to the table and bargaining and negotiating what we're worth and making this fight.
With lawsuits murmured, careers burned, and a heavyweight legacy staring into a crater. So I'm dragging us backward, because if you blink, you miss the snap, the moment boxing's spine bends. You need to see how this unraveled, from a quiet room into a public collapse, because the final fallout is bigger than a knockout, bigger than money, bigger than ego. It's about whether anything you're watching is even real anymore. And no, this shouldn't be real, except it is. And that's
why Jake Paul is so relevant, because he's found a way to bypass promoters and make money in the boxing rings instead of being a prisoner to the promoters. Even though he didn't fight anybody, he's about to fight Anthony Joshua, and we'll see what happens with that. Anthony Joshua should knock him into tomorrow because he's the bigger fighter with incredible power, but he's got a glass jaw. So if Jake Paul catches him, who knows?
Story first surfaced. It didn't sound like the usual background noise. I'm telling you, this wasn't trash talk. It wasn't hype. It was a crack in the door. And behind that crack sat influence, leverage, and a suggestion so poisonous it could corrode an entire division. Because when Anthony Joshua speaks without drama and drops a line that sounds casual, but lands like concrete, that isn't noise. That's a warning.
Not just physical, it's psychological. And when you understand the psychological warfare, I did say to you that, Jake, what's going to happen? I'm going to see a time when I'm going to take your soul and you're either going to give up or you're going to get knocked out. And unless you have that instinct, you just will never be a good fighter. So I wish that I could have knocked him out at the start. But as we saw tonight, Jake has spirit.
Single quotes S where it bends sideways, because it didn't explode into the open. It crept. It slipped out in a space where masks fall and filters disappear. That's what unsettles me. This wasn't someone chasing attention. This was a heavyweight king explaining why certain fights feel off, why certain doors stay locked, and why money keeps knocking louder than integrity. And don't tell me you don't hear that gap getting wider.
Go in. Jake deserves credit. This is amazing. He's gone 6 rounds with Anthony Joshua. He hasn't gone 6 rounds with Anthony Joshua. He spent 5 rounds on his bloody bike, and the other diving for cover. Come on, let's get real about what happened last night. The dude basically used the greedy to hoodwink the stupid. Fair play to the kid, man. He made 50 million plus. I mean, someone's just sent me a message saying that they did 90 million. Respect. There's people out there saying, oh, he kept getting dropped multiple times and getting up. No, he didn't. Stop.
The shock is that power now believes outcomes are negotiable, that legacies can be penciled in, erased, redrafted. And when that idea even brushes against a fighter forged by sanctioned violence and earned scars, something fractures, because fighting isn't content. The second you treat it like content, you invite chaos. And yes, I'm saying it plainly. Someone thought Anthony Joshua could be handled like a brand.
AJ, do you think Jake is on your level whatsoever?
No. No,
okay.
Respectfully. Because it's clear. If I say yes, I'm going to be lying to myself, and I can't lie to myself. It's not that he can't compete,
right?
But when you talk about, for example, music, how many albums I've put out, how many mixtapes I've put out, he just hasn't got the body of work I've got in boxing.
Got you.
The excuses lining up, misunderstandings, jokes taken wrong, strategic chatter. But listen to the delivery. Listen to the restraint, because calm is the tell. When a man refuses the circus and simply draws a boundary, that speaks louder than accusations. And here's the sentence nobody wants to finish, out loud. If this was offered here, who else heard it? Who else nodded along?
100 mile an hour. There's 2 things I would have done. Tried to shut Jake down at 100 mile an hour, or I would have gone on the back foot. So Jake decided to move around the ring, and I decided to put the pressure on. What I could have done better is a lot of things. 100%. In the fight game, You've seen the amazing fighters that have graced us over the last 100 years and the expectations that we put on ourselves.
Where the psychological blade turns. Because the sport survives on uncertainty, on the belief that once the bell rings, anything can happen. Poison that belief and you don't just cheapen one night, you devalue decades. Every fan who ever screamed at a screen feels it somewhere deep. That quiet doubt, that whisper asking if the dice were loaded before the gloves even touched.
Anthony Joshua. And the reason has everybody side-eyeing this whole situation. From what's being said, Jake is claiming Anthony Joshua went off script. And when I say off script, I mean, there was supposedly a no knockout clause, or at least very specific fight rules, and Joshua hitting Jake so hard that his jaw got dislocated in 2 places was not part of that agreement. Jake basically saying that punch crossed the line from just boxing into what he's calling malicious intent.